Hello, my name is Bethany from Beth and Books and welcome back to this book nook. I am English born, Kiwi raised, Australia living here in Melbourne, and today's vlog is going to be possibly a bit of a mishmash. I'll be honest, I don't know how much I'm going to manage to film because I have a little cousin staying with us for the night tonight. Obviously, I'm not going to be putting a 4-year-old child on the internet. So we'll see what clips I get of today. We're going to head out to the city because the F1 pop-up is up because the Australian Grand Prix, is it called the Aussie Grand Prix? Mm-hmm. Is up this weekend. So there's a few pop-ups, so we're going to take the little one down there, possibly grab some food. We're really going with the flow here. And then in terms of the books I want to read in this vlog, where's my pile? Down in my reading nook, that makes sense. The last vlog, I finished the series of inheritance games. Sorry, I'm just putting you guys on a tripod. One of my goals, I actually think, to be fair, it was a goal from last year, was to complete more series so that I only ever had like 10 series going on at once. So in this vlog, I'm going to make my goal to be to read these 2 books. I've got The Hat Principle, which is the final book in a trilogy, and this is a romance, and I really enjoyed the first 2 books. My first book in the series is still my favorite one, where the main character was autistic. It was just a really good book. I loved the romance and it was real gritty. And then this one is not the last book in the series, but it is helping me make progress on a series. This is book 3, I believe, in Andrzej Sapkowski's The Witcher series, which I technically own, but all my books are over in New Zealand. So that's just my little intro for this vlog, everybody. It's really good to be back. Thank you so much if you watched my first vlog back after a hot second. But for now, the little one will be here any moment. And so let's just see where the day takes us. Thank you for, thank you. Look at that.
Take a look. We have to look for the sheep hiding behind the bushes.
Oh, you're being so cute. A moment that the parents will be sharing in the future. Gonna put one of those in each of these, yeah? Good girl.
All of it is a phone.
Yeah, yes please. Are we gonna eat the plastic? What? Good job. Pop it in here.
Squishy blueberries.
Oh. I am definitely saving this and using it in my next Baking with Beth jingle that I make.
Squishy blueberries.
Blueberries, yeah, they can be squishy. I'll grab that so it doesn't fall in. I don't even know if you've opened it, you know. Let you figure it out. I think, what might you need to do? Smart girl, good job. Oh, you want me to grab it, do you? Cool. Oh, over the bolt. Hey, success.
Yes, it's squishy. It looks like jam.
Kind of is jam, I suppose. Hello, everyone. It's Tuesday. As I suspected, it was going to be a bit choppy. The cousin went home. She was all good. We had a nice wee day the rest of Sunday. And then yesterday was a teacher-only day. And I did 6 hours of trauma training. So you can imagine how heavy that was. So I came home and kind of blobbed. But I'm back on the couch. I'm going to read. I almost dropped the book. I'm going to start with The Hat Principle. I'm in the mood for... I don't know how heavy or light this romance is, but I'm in for some hopefully kind of fluffy, light enough romance, nothing too deep or dark or heavy. So this is The Hat Principle. It's also book 3 in the Kiss Quotient series. Is that what it is? Which will mean when I finish this, I can knock off another complete series from my list. Let me read you the blurb. When violinist Anna's son accidentally achieves career success with a viral YouTube video, she finds her anyway, She finds herself incapacitated and burned out from her attempts to replicate the moment. And when her longtime boyfriend announces that he wants an open relationship before making a final commitment, a hurt and angry Anna decides that if he wants an open relationship, then she does too. Translation, she's going to embark on a string of one-night stands. The more unacceptable men, the better. That's where tattooed, motorcycle riding Kwan Diep comes in. Their first attempt at a one-night stand fails, as does their second and their third, because being with Kwan is more than sex. He accepts Anna on an unconditional level that she herself has just begun to understand. However, when tragedy strikes Anna's family, she takes on a role that is ill-suited for until the burden of expectations threatens to destroy her. Anna and Kwan have to fight for their chances at love, but to do that, they also have to fight for themselves. I'm pretty sure Kwan am I even saying his name right? I'm pretty sure he's the cousin of the guy in the Kiss Quotient in the first one. So I'm pretty sure that's how it's connected. I will say right now, though, the more unacceptable the men, the better. Tattoos and motorcycle riding, get in the 21st century. You're allowed to be that. That doesn't make you bad. Alrighty, though. Let's delve in. Chapter 2, immediate R18 scene. And on the first sentence, my response was, like, ooh. So just be aware of that. This is not for youngsters, which you already know if you've made it this far in the series, but this is not for youngsters. All right, I have hit a possible snag in this book, guys. I'm up to page 60, and Huang has just referred to someone as someone who is autistic as saying my brother has Asperger's. And I know, like, back in the day, that's how it was referred to, but this book was published in 2021, and I'm pretty sure the world knew at that point about the most accurate, least offensive way to refer to autistic people. Asperger's is the last name of the Nazi doctor who coined the term Asperger's. And so, to the best of my knowledge, the main reason why we don't like the term Asperger's, sorry, I shouldn't say we, I shouldn't be using inclusive language, why autistic people don't like the term Asperger's is because it sounds like a disease. You say someone has it. For example, I can use a similar situation at school when I have dyslexic students. I don't say, hey, you have dyslexia. We talk about them being dyslexic. So it sounds less like something they catch, and it sounds less like something you don't want. And rather, it's just a part of who you are, which is totally okay. And so it just surprised me because I'm pretty sure Helen Huang is autistic herself. So I feel like she should potentially know better. And you might be asking me, but if she's autistic, shouldn't she be able to label it how she wants? And I mean, I suppose so. But I've also talked to many an autistic person, and no one has ever said that Asperger's is a way that they prefer to be labeled. And it makes me think sometimes, like, what right do I have to talk about this stuff? I am a European cis female who is neurotypical and hasn't experienced, I was going to say much trauma. I feel like trauma is a big word. I don't think I've experienced any, I hate saying this, but any proper trauma in my life. Like, I have lived a very sheltered, supported, marginalized life, and so I feel weird critiquing things when I am not the own voice of what I am critiquing. So please consider that. Take everything I say with like a pinch of salt. I myself am not autistic, so if you are autistic or you have an autistic family member, you can shed some light, please let me know. But I have had conversations with my autistic online friends about this before, and they corroborate what I'm saying. They're the people who educated me about the messages I'm sharing with you. I'm so sorry that this is just a bunch of clips of me sitting in the same space, but we're up to page 120. Interesting progress has been made when it comes to using the terminology Asperger's. Let me read a excerpt from you. Our main character has been given an book with the word Asperger's in the title, and she has discovered that she herself is on the autism spectrum. So it says, apparently Asperger's syndrome is no longer used diagnostically in the United States. In 2013, it was grouped along with other former neurological conditions under the broad umbrella of autism spectrum disorder. Many in the autistic community prefer the use of descriptors like with low support needs as opposed to high functioning, which was how Jennifer, the therapist, described our character. Okay, please ignore the mess that's going on behind me. It's not even 7 o'clock yet. Happy Wednesday. Happy second to last day of the term. Happy I finished the hat principle last night, and I've realised I don't actually really know why it's called the hat principle. Anywho, I finished it. I think I'm going to give it 4 stars. I obviously enjoyed it enough to read it pretty much in one sitting. I do think that it gets really dark. Spoiler free first, there's elements of this book which start talking about life and death because a family member gets ill, and ultimately we see our main character Anna try to figure out how to go through this with her autism diagnosis, and it's a good read. Like I said before I started reading that book, I didn't want something terribly heavy. Also, I read the acknowledgements, the author's note as well at the end of the book, and Helen is autistic herself, and it's quite intense in that she talks about how the book is the closest one to a autobiography you can tell it's in the morning, that she'll ever write. And so I feel like that often changes things. Like if an author says this is close to my experience and whatnot, I feel like it makes it harder to review a book, because I feel like I have even less of the right to put my opinion on something if someone is saying that this is what they have lived through. Does that make sense? Like, I don't feel like I can tell someone that their story is lacking something if they're telling me that that's their life. That feels really rude. So I think I'm just going to leave the review for the book at that. You've heard my thoughts throughout the novel. I'm very happy to have finished another series, so I can mark that one off the list. So I'm going to get on to The Witcher. So this one is Baptism of Fire. It is the 3rd book in the Witcher series, not including the 2 prequels that I have read. So technically this is the 5th Witcher book that I have read, and the blurb for this one, please be aware it will spoil a little bit of the first 2 books in the series. It says, the Witcher is supposed to be the guardian of the innocent, a protector of those in need, a defender against powerful and dangerous monsters that prey on men in dark times. But now chaos has descended upon the world. The wizard's guild has been shattered and Geralt is seriously injured, helpless until he recovers. War rages across the land, the future of magic is under threat, and the sorcerers who survive are determined to protect it. It's an impossible situation in which to find one lost girl, Ciri, the heiress to the throne of Sintra, until a rumour places her in the Nilfgaard court preparing to marry the Emperor. Injured or not, Geralt has a rescue mission on his hands. And in all honesty, I cannot for the life of me remember what happened in the last books, so I'm definitely going to have to Google that one. Right, it's time for me to get to school. See you later. Good morning, everybody, and happy Thursday morning. I have a confession to make with y'all. I've been on holiday. I haven't vlogged anything for 6 days. I went to Manly in Sydney and then stayed in Sydney CBD for 2 days. I was thinking about vlogging whilst I was there, but I think I've mentioned it multiple times before. I really dislike not being in the moment. And then I was with friends and family, well, my brother and a couple of mates, and Titus, when we were away, and you just got to live in the moment. I have a newfound respect since I started vlogging for travel vloggers, because I honestly don't think that when you're traveling and vlogging, getting the amount of content some of those OG travel vloggers could get, I'm not convinced that you're actually in the moment. I like posting things on my stories if you have managed to weasel your way in, or you are a friend like in real life or family member and you're on my personal Insta stories. I like to track things on my Insta stories. That's actually like a photo here and there. But as I've been talking, I've hopefully been popping some photos up for you to see. Sorry I didn't vlog it. When we go to Phuket in the middle of the year, I might try to, but again, no promises when it comes to going away with family and stuff. I try real hard to be in the moment, but we'll see. Basically, this is a really long-winded way to come around telling you that I didn't start reading The Witcher. Also, I have broken out because I drank a lot. I drank a lot on my holiday, so I've broken out. So I'm on mission: stop drinking, clear my face up, eat healthy, get fit. But that's a whole different thing. I'll get into the next vlog properly. But I didn't bring The Witcher with me on holiday. Sorry, I feel like I'm rambling. And what I did instead is I brought my tablet with me, and I was trying to find The Witcher on my apps that I have available to me through the library, and I could not for the life of me find Baptism of Fire. But what I did find that I was genuinely interested in reading was, let me just bookmark this, Bookshops and Bone Dust, which is technically, I think, the prequel to Bookshops and Latte or something. I've seen it recommended everywhere. That's the cover art, also like a piece of art. I've seen it recommended around for a really cozy read, and in all honesty, I just wanted something easy to read, and it's definitely easy. So I am approximately halfway through that book. So I do think, guys, I know at the beginning I said I'll try read The Witcher. I don't think I'll get to it in this vlog. I don't want this vlog to go on for too long. It's already spanned a couple of weeks. So I'm going to finish reading this one. Just getting my breakfast. Then I will tell you, I've got to have the perfect amount of sugar on my porridge, and then I'll tell you about the book. Bookshops and Bone Dust is book 0 in the Legends and Lattes series by Travis Baldree. When an injury throws a young battle-hungry orc off her chosen path, she may find what we need isn't always what we seek. In Bookshops and Bone Dust, a prequel to Legends and Lattes, author Travis Baldree takes us on a journey of high fantasy, first loves and second-hand books. It's a book about books. Viv's career with the notorious mercenary company Rackham's Ravens isn't going as planned. Wounded during the hunt for a powerful necromancer, she's packed off against her will to recuperate in the sleepy beach town of Merk, so far from the action that she worries she will never be able to return to it. What's a thwarted soldier of fortune to do? Spending her hours at a beleaguered bookshop in the company of its foul-mouthed proprietor is the last thing Viv would have predicted, but it may be both exactly what she needs and the seed of changes she couldn't possibly imagine. Still, adventures aren't that far away. A suspicious traveller in grey, a gnome with a chip on her shoulder, a summer fling, and an improbable number of skeletons prove Merk to be more eventful than Viv could have ever imagined. So this is a fantasy LGBT female romance, but also adventure. I am currently bang on 50% of the way through this book, and whilst I am enjoying it, I am a little bit bored. Cozy romances, not even romances, just cozy books, I find tend to be slower paced. That's what makes them cozy. And whilst that's not a bad thing, I do tend myself to lose immersion if the plot doesn't keep progressing at a decent pace. All right, you can tell I've done some house chores when the bed is made. I have made a little bit more progress with the book, little update. I think I've realized why I'm not fully meshing with this book, and even though it's got LGBT romance, the most we've had is a little kiss on the cheek, which is fine, which is totally fine. But all of it combining to feel a little bit middle grade. And again, it's not bad. It's just, I'm not a middle grade reader. So, anywho, we're at my shoe rack because I'm going to continue ticking things off my to-do list. I need to sneaker spray some of my shoes. So let me grab them and head outside. All right, if you hear the trains, I'm sorry. I do live by a train station. It has gotten so cold out here. Sydney was so nice and warm. So speaking of, it's autumn. We're going into winter. And I've got 3 pairs of suede shoes here. I want to try protect from the winter weather. These ones are my newest pickups. I love the contrast stitch. They're just so cool. These ones are also pretty new. I haven't worn them yet either. So I'm using platypus. This one is silicone based, which is meant to be better for your shoes. I have used this a few times before. and I meant to do this twice per shoot. Smells like nail polish remover. All right, team, I have a plan. Oh, I've got it on a fancy camera setting. Ha ha ha. I always forget this is an option. I have lunch in the form of rice and fried chicken from Uber. I do need to go out and get some groceries because coming home from holiday, we have like nothing of actual substance in the house. We don't even have bread. So I've got to look after myself. At least that's how I make it make sense. It is, once again, my favourite soy garlic fried chicken from Sam Sam. Oh, stuff is just next level. And I also think it's pretty affordable when you look at the price of other fried chicken places around the place. Anyway, my plan, I said. Very excitingly, I also just filmed snippets of a Real Choosers TBR episode, which I haven't filmed in a year. I mean, I haven't really been consistently making YouTube content for a wee while, but we're getting better, I'm gonna eat this, watch some YouTube, finalize the books I want to try and get out at the library, which I will do this weekend. Then I'm gonna finish this book. I'm about 50 pages away from finishing it. I want to finish it. Every time, it's so good. It's just so consistently delicious. I do need to clear up my skin though, so health, I'm gonna fill this with water. All right, here we go, team. I am laying down with my tablet propped up. I have, how many pages left in total? 219 of 274, so basically 50 pages. I can also feel a nap coming on. I am determined to finish this though, so let's do it. Morning, team. Next day, I finished Bookshops and Bone Dust. I keep wanting to call it the next one in the series, and I have to admit that whilst I read this book quite quickly once I got into it, I'm only going to give it a 3 stars. I think at the end of the day, it was cute, but I didn't love it. There's this obvious plot progression, in my opinion, where you can see things happening. The writing style and the romance in the book was giving me middle grade, which again, like I've mentioned before, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. But I really expected it to be more than that because of the premise of it being like about orcs and battles and warriors. And I just expected it to be a bit more hard-hitting, pun intended, than it was. I do appreciate seeing a female-female romance. I do appreciate seeing a really strong platonic friendships. I really do appreciate seeing a story. This is going to sound so hypocritical, but I suppose I appreciate seeing a story that doesn't always have to be so intense with the action. In that, I'm saying this in mind that I would recommend this to teenagers. A problem I have all the time as a teacher recommending books to avid and very capable readers is that it's hard to find books which interest them in a complexity level while still entertaining them without being too overly sexual or too overly gory. So it's definitely a book I would be happy recommending a middle grade, like a mature middle grade. So by that I'm saying like 12-year-olds, 11-year-olds who are mature, all the way through to like no stress at all for any like 13, 14, 15, I guess underage youth. So that's my thoughts on the book. Unfortunately, I'm not going to continue with the series, so I guess you would call it a series DNF. 3 stars. It's not a bad book, but it wasn't my favourite. But in exciting news, what I did get around to filming is a Wheel Chooses TBR video. So that is going to be the next video up. I'm really excited by it. I've got some really cool books on the list, and I think I'm feeling really invigorated and excited to read again, which honestly I haven't felt in a year. Just since we moved here, there's been so much going on in a good way that I just didn't have the drive to read because it wasn't a priority. My priority was meeting new people and going out and eating food at the restaurants and living, I guess. But thank you so much for making it to the end of another vlog. Enjoy all the places to go in your reading and life adventures, and I will see you in the next video in the Wheel Chooses TBR. Oh, so exciting. Bye guys. Mwah, mwah. I need to come up with like a cool little outro. Books, ducks, and flying clocks. Didn't rhyme. Yeah. Bye.